It's been a while since the last update on this project, and that has been simply because of the extreme amount of carbon fiber decals that needs to be applied. Some of the pieces were pretty complicated and it took a long time to do. Now, since this card deserves every bit of attention that it got, I did take my time, and it did take a bit longer than I wanted to, but in the end all the carbon fiber was applied. The parts were first prepped, primed, painted black, and then the decals could be applied one by one. I'm just showing you a snippet of what I've actually done to most of the parts, as otherwise it would be a video of about 20 to 30 hours of just applying carbon fiber decals. Some of the parts were incredibly complicated, like the wheels. The instructions were a bit lacking as to which decal to do first, so it did require some figuring out, and also it took just an insane amount of patience to get all of these decals to conform to the parts and get into all of the nooks and crannies. So I'm just going to go over some of these in a short time-lapse-ish version, and then going to move on to applying some clear coat to make them nice and glossy. So about 30 hours later, all the carbon fiber decals had been applied. I let them cure for a couple of days before I applied the clear coat. Just going to go for a nice glossy finish, applying a couple coats of Streetblisters 2K to get them nice, glossy, and even, and smooth and shiny. Well, that's... never mind. Once that was all said and done, I let those sit and dry for a couple of days as well, and in the meantime moved on to painting some of the bits for the engine in various shades of silver, some red, and mostly black too. Now, after I did finish the full assembly, I noticed that I messed up a little bit color-wise here. Some of these parts needed to be black, and I painted them silver, and well, that's my bad. I didn't really look at any reference. I just went by feeling, and I got it wrong. Not that it matters all that much, as most of this will be pretty much hidden once the entire engine has been assembled, so not a big deal, but for the detail-oriented people, this might be a little bit of a bummer. Now, I wanted to match some of the other parts with the stripes, so I mixed up a orange with a bit of red from Mr. Hobby, and that matched it pretty well. It's not a 100% match, but it does match it good enough in my opinion. So the calipers, some of the bits on the roof, I think it's the antenna, and the small bit in the front bumper were painted orange, and I also painted the engine covers or the cam covers in a nice red. So with all of the decaling complete, the clear coat now cured, and all the other parts painted, it was time to do the assembly. Now, I did mention it before, the instructions were a bit lacking, specifically on the carbon fiber decals and also on this front bumper area. There were a ton of parts and some headlight bits, some bumper bits, some meshes, some grills, everything you can imagine, and no real instructions how to assemble them, which parts to go first, so it was a bit of a mix match and slime it all together. It didn't turn out perfect, as some of the parts needed to be assembled in a different route than I did, so I'm not really going to show all that much about it, as I got it completely wrong. Do some test fitting before gluing, of course. Well, in the end I did get it all together, so let's move on to some other bits. With the final couple of pieces now installed and glued on, I could move on to the final detail, and that is adding some Panelline accent color to all of the panel lines to not make them blue, but give them a bit of a shading, darkened black look. Once that was applied, I let that cure, removed all of the excess, and we could move on to the final pictures. If you are interested in purchasing one of these kits, I do have them available in the TSMC Webshop, and you can also buy them directly from PZY. Another great kit, not a cheap one, but with all of the carbon fiber and the extreme amount of details put into it, I figure it is well worth it if you want to build one of these models. So check out the website down below, tsmc.shop, or head over to the Facebook page for PZY model. Thanks for watching, and I'd see you on the next one.